Okay, so we're going to continue the ellipse and see what kind of questions you can expect on your test. So let's briefly go over everything again. So you have two kinds, the horizontal ellipse and the vertical ellipse. Um, and every ellipse has two axes of symmetry. Okay, so you have what is called the major axis and then the minor axis. Okay, again same thing in the horizontal. You have the major axis, it's just bigger, the minor axis which is smaller. And the focus points always lie on the major axis. So in the vertical ellipse, the focus point will lie here, and on the horizontal ellipse, the focus points will lie here. So consequently, what happens is the major axis is longer, is the longer segment. Okay, and its distance is 2a, whereas the minor axis is the shorter segment and its distance is 2b. So A is greater than B. And the distance between the foci, the distance between the foci is 2c. Okay, so you have 2a, 2b and 2c. And how are all these three things related? It's related like this. Okay, so these are all kind of the important things that you need to know. Sometimes you'll be given the length of the major axis, and or you'll be given the distance between the foci, and has to calculate other things. So knowing all the relationships between them is important. Now, the two equations that we need to remember for this is for the horizontal ellipse. You have x minus h the whole square by a square plus y minus k the whole square by b square. Now, you note that in the horizontal ellipse, what is the major axis? The major axis is on the x-axis. And so you will see that the a is the denominator for x minus h the whole square, so the x term. Whereas for the vertical ellipse, the major axis is on the y-axis, so therefore a, which is always greater than b, is on the y term. Okay, so it's on the y minus k the whole square. So that's how you'll know which one goes underneath which one. Okay, so always major axis a, whether it's horizontal ellipse, it doesn't matter. Okay, whichever is the major axis, the a goes underneath, that is the denominator, and the b will be for the other one. Okay, so what kind of questions can you expect? So here is an example of one of them. You have a graph given to you with various points that are marked, and you're asked to find the equation of the ellipse. So you can already see that the major axis is on the on the y. So therefore this is a vertical ellipse, right? So you already know your equation is going to be x minus h the whole square, and b square is going to be underneath because the major axis is on the y minus k the whole square by a square equals to 1. So let's find out all these various values, right? So let's look at the length of the major axis. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So therefore this point is 0, 8. This is going to be 0, minus 8. So therefore the distance between those 2 points, between this and this, which is the length of the major axis, is going to be 16 units. Length of major axis, which means what? Your 2a is 16 and so a is 8, which kind of makes sense. We have 0, 8 and 0, minus 8. Now, what's the next thing that's given to us, right? Let's look at the foci. So you have the 2 points. What are the 2 points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 5 and 0, minus 5. So length of foci, length of distance between foci, okay, is 10 units, right? So your 2c is 10, implies c is 5. And you have a and c, so now you know the relationship between a, b and c, because you now want to know this distance. So you can say b square is equal to a square minus c square. So b square is 8 square minus 5 square, which is 64 minus 25, which is 39. Now the center of the, and so therefore b is what? Root 39, right? So the center of the ellipse, which is right here, is on the origin. So therefore in this case, the center h, k is 0, 0. So now we have all the values. We can put it in our equation, right? X minus 0 the whole square divided by b square, so 39. And again, y minus k the whole square. The major axis is on y, so a value is underneath y, and a square is 64. That's equal to 1. Sorry, this is going to be 0. So the final equation is x square by 39 plus y square by 64 is equal to 1. So that's going to be the equation. The second kind of question you can get is to write the equation in standard form. Okay, and you'll be given something like this: 8x square plus 3y square is equal to 48. Now, in the standard form, the right hand side should be 1. So to achieve that, we divide everything by 48. So then this becomes x square by 6 plus y square by 16 is equal to 1. Pretty straightforward. So in the standard form, the right hand side should be equal to 1. Okay. And then the next kind of question is you're going to find out all of the values. For example, you'll find the center, the foci, length of major and minor axis. And sometimes we have to draw the graph after that. So in this case, it's 27x square plus 9y square is equal to 81. Again, it's not in standard form. So first step, get it in standard form, which means what? The right hand side is equal to 1. So and to achieve that, you divide by 81 on both sides. So therefore you have 21x square by 81 plus 9y square by 81 is equal to 81 over 80. And that is going to give us x square by 3 plus y square by 9 is equal to 1. Okay, so now how do we know whether it's a horizontal ellipse or the vertical ellipse? So you look at the denominators, right? So look at the denominators. 9 is greater than 3 and 9 is underneath y square. So you know that your foci are on the y-axis, so that's the major axis. So therefore this is a vertical ellipse, right? So it's going to be like this, x, y. Yeah, this is going to be your major axis. So what is the equation going to be if it's the vertical ellipse? We know it's going to be x minus h the whole square by b square plus y minus k the whole square by a square is equal to 1, where b square is a square minus c square. Always remember that. That's the connection. Okay, so your a is 3 and your b is root 3 over here, right? Because your a square is 9 and your b square is 3. So now let's find out b square equals a square minus c square. So 3 equals 9 minus c square. C square is 6 and c is root 6. So therefore the foci is 0 root 6 and 0 minus root 6. Now you can see that the center is 0 0 because the value of h and k in the given equation is 0 0. So now you have all of the information. You have the length of major axis, right? It's 2a or 2 times 3, which is 6, length of minor axis is 2b, which is 2 times root 3 units. So with all of this information, you can draw the graph. Okay, make sure you mark your points and then draw the graph. And when you draw the graph, you should mark the foci, mark the center for C, and then you can specify the length of the major and minor axis. Okay. Now, the last kind of problem that you'll be given is very similar to this, but you have to actually get it into the standard form, and it requires a little more work, which, like, an example would be like this: x square plus y square plus 24y is equal to minus 32. So we did the completing of squares even with circle. You're going to have to do the same thing here. Again, look at this. You don't have to worry about x square because there's no other x term, so you know the h value is 0. So x square is fine. It's the y square where you have to complete the terms. So y square plus 2 times 12y is equal to minus, oh, I had the equation wrong. So it's 4y square. So when you have this, you want to take out 4 and make sure that your y square term is 1. Okay, is equal to minus 32. So let's solve for inside, completing the squares. It's 2 times 3y. So therefore plus 9 and then minus 9 inside of the bracket. Okay, do everything inside of the bracket and then take it out. So this is going to be x square plus 4 times, this is going to be y plus 3 the whole square, and then you have the minus 9 is equal to minus 32, and then x square plus 4 times y plus 3 the whole square, and now you want to distribute this one, make it 36 is equal to minus 32. Then you're going to add the 36 on both sides, and you're going to get x square plus 4 times y plus 3 the whole square is equal to 4. Right? Now, remember again, in the standard form, your right hand side should be 1. So therefore, I'm going to divide everything by 4, right? So x square plus 4. I divide everything by 4. And therefore, I will get now, you can see that 4 is greater than 1. So therefore, your foci is on the x-axis, because look at where 4 is. 4 is underneath x square. So therefore, the major axis is on the x-axis, which means this is a horizontal ellipse, right? So it's going to be the dining table, because this is your major axis. So you have a picture, you kind of know what each one is, right? So therefore your a value is going to be 2 and your b value is going to be 1. So therefore your c square is what? B square is a square minus c square. So therefore 1 square is 4 minus c square, or c square is 3, which implies c is root 3. So therefore your foci is root 3 minus 3 and minus root 3 minus 3. Now, why is that the case? Because your center of your ellipse is not the origin, right? The center of the ellipse is 0, negative 3. So that's why you need to have this. So center is 0, negative 3. Again, you know the a and b value. So major axis length is 2a. So that's 2 times 2, which is 4 units. And length of minor axis is 2b, which is 2 times 1, which is 2 units. So you have all the information, and now you can graph the ellipse, because you also know how it looks. All you're doing is making sure you're having the correct points, and as always, don't forget to mark the foci, the center, and the length. So these are the kind of questions you're going to get for ellipse. It's very similar to circles, and you'll see that it will also be very similar when you do hyperbola. Okay,